Good day and welcome to the Stomp It podcast. Today I'm sitting in the living room of no one less than Magnus Granèr. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. For you who doesn't know Magnus, may I introduce you like in a little showy way that's going to make you feel shy and awkward to live up to it?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so Magnus Granèr, in my not so humble opinion, is one of the most creative skiers maybe on the planet, I'd say. You guys have contributed with fashion, new tricks, kind of a new style, and I very much appreciate it, even if I don't want to dress like you or quite ski like you. Well, ski like you, I actually want to. And he's the winner of X Games Real Ski. Which year was it again?
2017.
Yeah, it's a cool edit. You can check it out, probably in the link below. And today we're going to talk about skiing.
Yeah.
To warm you up, I asked my followers on Instagram what they wanted to ask you. So we started with a couple of quick questions. So quite short and sweet answers, if I may. The first one is in Swedish. Vilken varma koppen är godast?
Well, varma koppen is a quick meal that you kind of bring on the mountains, and my favorite one would be the sparris, which is asparagus, I guess. Yeah, the asparagus one is the best one. I've actually had the pleasure of enjoying one just last weekend.
Nice. It's Ella Levander who asked that. Is it someone who you know?
Yeah, I just happened to be on the mountain hike with her, so makes sense that she would ask that question.
Okay.
Shout out to Ella. She wasn't sold on the varma koppen at start. She's kind of a food critic, I would say, and I had to sort of convince her that the varma koppen is the way to go on the mountain. Yeah,
I was really curious what the background story of that was. Next one is, why did you leave ON3P?
Because we started our own ski company, and yeah, that's, I guess, the main reason. I loved ON3P. I loved working with them, and I'm really thankful for that journey and being a part of that brand. But it was even more tempting to start an own brand.
I completely understand that. And how old are you?
29.
29. Next one is from Pat MN. Your skiing is floaty like water. Here's my question. Are you water?
Aren't we like 90% water or something, like human bodies? So I guess I'm pretty much all water, and I've just channeled my inner water spirit so I can flow quite like water.
So you are 90% water, 10% swerve.
Yeah, that's the composition. All you're gonna need.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's my favorite question, by the way. Thank you, Pat.mn. You're great. What's your favorite trick?
It's just side hits, like whenever, like just a hit and there's like a little edge or something, just a side hit with like a grab or something. That's the best feeling, I think, just hitting side hits.
And then land on the side hit again?
Yeah, exactly. It's
so like a surfing.
Kind of like a half pipe hit almost. Or
So you get that surfy vibe.
Yeah, I just feel like, I just love the feeling of just finding a narrow edge or like a small edge and being able to kind of charge it and try to air as much as possible from like a tiny little thing, and then you catch like perfect tranny back in the same like little edge. That's it's the best feeling, and because it seems unreal that you can somehow, it's like just like a little, it could just be a 90-degree angle, but you just kind of smash your skis into it and you're able to boost and catch tranny. It's the best feeling.
I understand why. It feels great.
Yeah.
I think it's because of that pop. It's like...
Yeah, exactly. It seems like it's a small hit, but you boost high. And it's also like, it's tricky if you really want to boost it. It's kind of hard, so you gotta... It takes a lot of skill too to be able to actually boost it and land back in it good, basically.
Nice.
So yeah, even if it's simple, it can be really hard, depending on how good you want to do it.
And then we got Tim.Cord asks, best 3 tricks to do outside of the park.
I'm trying to think what I do outside of the park. I usually just ski and I don't have like any really go-to tricks, I guess, outside of the park.
Butter?
Yeah, like let's say powder butters and just slashing snow. You know, a good slash can be a banger clip, or a good butter can be a banger clip. So, and then maybe just a backflip, because it's always fun. You're just always a little nervous, and you're gonna throw a backflip off a clip or something, and it just boosts your adrenaline, and it's just a great feeling.
I was watching my favorite parts of Is There Time for Matching Socks, one of your best ski movies, yesterday to prepare, and you seem to like flat sevens as well.
Yeah, that's a go-to. I feel like I can land that on anything, so it's just, and they always kind of come down.
It's a beautiful trick. Feels great.
It is. It's nice.
Yeah, and another question on tricks. How do I get more shifty in my skiing?
Maybe do some back stretching out the spine, little left to right, and then basically just going for like shifting. I guess that's some muscle you have to like. I guess the snappiness and the power to bring it one way and then bring it back the other way and stuff. Like if you practice it, you're gonna practice those muscles, and then you're gonna be able to bring it further and stuff. The shifties.
Yeah, I like to chip in something there. With shifties, it's like you kind of want to start it down in the ankle. You get like that many degrees of rotation.
Yeah.
And then get the knee.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to. The more weight you swing one way, the more weight you gotta throw the other way.
Exactly.
To counterweight it.
Yeah.
Or like to counter rotate it. It's my little thought on shifties. And I like how you shifty, like, and also get the noses up and down and play around.
Yeah, play around with the shifties. Yeah.
It can create a completely different look, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy how a shifty can look different.
Yeah,
so many different variations.
Another quick one on tricks is, how do I get the confidence to do new tricks?
Well, one good thing is like to imagine yourself doing the trick in your head a lot before you do it. That's been really helpful for me, just visualizing what I'm doing. And I can and then obviously you need to practice until, I get to a point when I see that a trick is possible. Like it's like almost feeling like, okay, I'm ready for this trick. It's like coming from above or something. Okay, I'm ready for this. And then I can start picturing it in my head. And then I just picture it. And then sometimes I just know, like, I just see how I do it completely. And then usually it always works out. So I think, practice, ski a lot. Like every sport, I think just try it a lot and be like, I've been tactical with my skiing too, even though I'm like creative. I've been like really systematic as well. So yeah, it takes practice, and then try to imagine the tricks as well. Like the more you think of them, the easier they're gonna be.
Yeah, love that you bring that up. And also to just highlight it even more, practicing ski tricks in your mind, because it's kind of difficult to do an entire trick in your mind. We mentioned flat sevens. If you do a flat 5, it's kind of easy to visualize in your mind. If you imagine you go towards the jump, you set it, you never really have a blind time, just a little bit in the beginning, and then you spot the landing, bring it around. Easy to visualize compared to a flat 7, where you see the ground less. And so yeah, it's really useful to practice that skill of visualization. And also there's a second way of visualize. So that's how I visualize. But some people, I don't know if you can do this, visualize like outside of your body, that they can see the jump like from the side of it, like a spectator watching a big air contest, and see yourself doing the trick and see what it's going to look like from the outside. Can you do that?
I usually just visualize sort of the feeling. Like I don't even go into too much of specific. I'm doing it more like from my perspective, like coming off the kicker, how I'm pulling, and then sort of how it feels like getting around, and pairing up different experience through my skiing that I can sort of puzzle together into this new trick, and then I can sort of build up a vision of how I feel like it's going to be done. I guess. But that seems cool to look at it from the outside perspective as well.
Yeah.
Have you done that?
No, I don't do that. It doesn't work for me. But it's probably because I haven't practiced doing that. And I can imagine doing this outside perspective visualization could maybe open up some more creativity, because you can like picture what you want it to look like for the audience. Like if you do a cork 5 with a mad shifty towards like the audience who's standing on the left side of the jump, for example.
Yeah.
That you can like try to make it look extra good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can exactly. You can picture yourself in. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah,
trick.
or if you have like a camera standing on the knuckle filming you,
Exactly.
that you at the end kind of fist bump the camera almost and smile into it.
Yeah.
Which could be
for sure. I mean, that's
kind of cool.
For sure. Yeah, I think interacting with the crowd is cool, and I think that's coming more in skiing. Like the more interactive you can be as a skier, the more success on social media and stuff you will have, I guess.
I think so too. And thank you guys for so many awesome questions.
Thank you.
I will get one more that I really liked from these questions, which was from Martin Kjær 255. He says, what ski profile would you pick if you only could pick one? Rocker, traditional camber, camber rocker, full rocker, etc.
I would pick camber rocker. Like, I'm really stoked on the way we have it with 1000, because we have a rocker, but it's pretty small compared to what I've been skiing before, which allows the ski to be very soft, but still have like a lot of edge touching snow and stuff like that. And you still get a little bit of rocker, you know, so you float good in powder and stuff. But I really like the feeling of having sort of a more rocker, but also, or more camber, but also rocker, allowing ski to be soft and sort of stable and chargy. That's a nice combination. I was really excited when I realized that with the 1000 skis. Yeah,
because you went from 0-3P, which has camber and a mad big rocker. Right?
Yeah, they have a huge rocker, which I was like super hyped on then, and I hadn't been skiing on, you know, more of a traditional ski, which I would say the 1000 is. So I didn't really know, but then I like it that way.
There you said something that makes me want to bring up one more question from the awesome people on Instagram that's related.
Okay.
Because it's such a good one. So Pearl SE says, how to know if your skis are wrong for you, or should you just adjust to the skis?
That's a good question. Well, I think that you should, I mean, whatever skiing inspires you, I think that's kind of what should sort of determine what ski you have. If you want to, you can sort of look at, you know, what skiers that inspire you and what kind of skiing that you want to do, and then from that you can decide on what ski to have. But I do like putting on like a crazy charging ski and sort of adapt that style to do that. I like switching from different styles and stuff. I think that's really fun. But yeah, I would say look into your heart and then find the right ski for you.
To chip in a little bit on that theme, I liked it because I was like, I got some thoughts on this myself.
Yeah.
The hard part of that question is how to know if it's wrong for you. It's really hard to know while only skiing that ski. You might discover that it's wrong for you if you change to something else. Then you're like, oh wow, that was not good for me.
Yeah.
So my advice for people, like, borrow your friend's skis, swap around between your mates, or if they get some ski testing days, test stuff and see what you like. Because this has definitely happened to me, that I had to adopt my own skiing to my skis for quite a long time. For quite a long time I skied the focal walls, like competition slopestyle skis, full camber, extremely stiff, good edge grip, but long turning radius. And this sort of ski shaped my skiing to basically never butter, don't play around that much, just like spin fast, chuck bigger flips and spins of nice jumps.
Yeah.
And so that ski totally shaped me into fitting on it.
Right.
It was fine at that time because I liked that sort of skiing back then. But then I changed skis and started playing around with more similar to the skis you guys are making, or the like bench at 100s I ski a lot, camber, a bit of rocker, or extremely soft skis I also tried, like extremely soft. And they all changed my skiing into different.
It's fun. It's fun. I think trying around on different skis and seeing it opens, seeing what kind of possibilities are open with the softer ski and a harder ski and stuff like that. So I mean, it is really hard to find like the perfect ski for everything. So sort of, I guess, what you're more towards, like find a ski that fits that, I guess.
Yeah, and something you maybe never tried is to take FIS World Cup slalom skis like into the park or play around.
No, I actually never tried, which is crazy. I really want to.
You should try. Come and visit me in Laks and I'll sort you out. You can try some crazy skis.
So fun.
It is so fun. And that also changes your skiing. And it's kind of a wild thing to take a freestyle ski, put on proper slalom skis and then go and play around.
Exactly.
It shapes you into something else.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways, basically.
Yeah.
The ski can shape you, but also you can shape yourself to fit the ski.
Absolutely.
Or,
but one thing I want to say on that topic too is I feel like a lot of people are skiing. At least like there's a lot of hype to get like these kind of all mountain skis, like the 106 width that I guess a lot of people get, and usually you get like a pretty charged, like maybe you ski a couple times every year. You're not a great skier. You love skiing, but you buy a ski that's like super stiff, super chargy. I think that's like a common mistake that people do, is buying just something ski that's too stiff for them, and having a little softer ski is just gonna like allow you to flow into the turns easier. And like if you're not charging down like choppy terrain in high speeds, you probably don't need like a savage ski. You could have something that's going to be way more fun all over the mountain. So I think that's kind of a general thing there. It's like, don't go to the store with your cojones on your, you don't go there and be like, I'm going to be, I need the biggest ski. Just be reasonable with your abilities, and sort of, if you're not crazy looking for crazy terrain, then maybe look for something a little softer.
Yeah. Go test stuff. At the beginning of the season, there's always these test centers and test events in many ski areas. So go to them, try stuff.
Yes.
If not, there are ski reviews on the internet that can help you, but never trust the ski manufacturers' websites. I haven't read yours, but it always sounds like every ski is perfect for each and every person.
Yeah.
And it's never true, really.
Yeah.
I have some. I should read you guys' website too and see. So that's all the questions there. Let's go into normal podcast mode and just talk about life and skiing. What do you think?
Sounds great. Yeah.
So I realized we have quite a lot in common. We grew up in the same not resort, but in the same part of Sweden. The far north, by the coast, where it's flat and urban.
Yeah.
And the conditions aren't that good, or the parks.
No, it was back then it was basically you build it yourself, park, if you wanted rails and stuff like that.
So can you talk a little bit about how you got into skiing in the very early days and how it led up to like ski gymnasium?
So I started skiing before I kind of remember. And even like cross country skiing, when as soon as I could walk, basically I was on cross country skis. We always had huskies when I grew up, so I went like skiing with huskies on these cross country skis. So I always wanted to claim that that's sort of the foundation of my skiing, is that basically on also cross country skiing with huskies is quite difficult. It's very slippery and it takes a lot of balance and stuff. So that's always like that. I say that's my foundation. And then I snowboarded until I was like 12 or 13. So I barely remember slalom skiing when I was a kid, but I did. But then I snowboarded until I was like 12, 13. Then I switched back to skis. One time I just tried skis, and immediately I was better at skis than snowboarding.
Oh, really?
Like I was just natural on skis, I feel like then.
You said something slalom skis. Did you just mean skis, or did you actually join a racing club?
No,
racing?
never racing. No.
Mm-hmm.
But right when I started skiing, I joined like a freestyle club.
Ah, nice.
And my mom became a coach as well for the club without any knowledge. She started doing spreads and stuff like that, but just so that we could have another like practice, because we had like one time a week. Then we had 2 times a week.
Yeah.
And that introduced me to the community in Umeå, where I grew up. Or close. It was actually 30-minute drive to Umeå. I grew up in Hörnefors, so we drove like an hour 2 times a week to go there. It's a tiny hill. It's 40 meters elevation. So that's... And they built up 10 of those meters with like... They just freaking did a little renovation of the slope and added 10 meters. So we got a pretty significant race there of the hill.
I didn't think about it. Me growing up skiing in Skellefteå at Vitbergsbacken, I basically come from the big mountains of Skellefteå then, where we have like 100 meters.
Yeah, that's pretty much huge. The 100-meter slopes were not around. Umeå is even flatter than Skellefteå, actually. Yeah,
it's super flat. But you get sick urbans.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that probably soon, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a cool start though. Huskies, leading into this tiny ski hills, your mom coaching.
Yep. And then met the community there, and then I guess I went to gymnasium in Kiruna. So I fell in love with skiing. I was like hooked. I couldn't think of anything else. I was dressing with freaking huge clothes in my school. Everyone's like, what's this guy up to? Like, what the fuck? Like, is he a gangster now or stuff like that? Completely committed in the community and everything around skiing, and then I moved to Kiruna to the gymnasium.
When you were 16 then?
Yeah.
Had you already then started doing some urbans, etc.?
I've hit urban. I've hit like 1 or 2 features here and there, but I didn't really do urban until I moved to Kiruna. Okay.
So what happened in Kiruna?
Well, we're 16. We're moving to the northernmost city of Sweden. It's snow from October to May in the city. We super randomly, like there was just a crazy gathering of very passionate skiers that then became to be the bunch later on. But it was everyone had this crazy drive to ski.
Can you mention the names of the other members of the bunch?
So it was Peiben, Per Hägglund, LSM, Lucas Ståhl Madsen, Linus Thornberg, Jens Nilsson, Gustav Kavalin. I think that's everyone that went there.
And you were all classmates?
We were all... Gustav was a class below us, but we were like all classmates. We had more people in our class too, but then sort of what later then became the bunch, those were the people that kind of... Yeah, you could tell from then, already from like basically first year, that these were the people that had a different passion, I guess, or a bigger drive. So that it naturally became sort of a crew that then became the bunch. Because some people were sort of more focused.
Yeah, and there it's kind of crazy gymnasium or upper secondary high school where it was a technical gymnasium, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you had to do the hardest math and physics and learn about space and rockets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And freestyle skiing. What a mix.
It was crazy. It was so crazy. We didn't know that we were like... We signed up through freeride.sc. It's like new schoolers. Really? Basically, that's a forums there. We found the sign-up thing. And I remember the teacher asking us, like, did you guys know you were going to study like astronomy? And only one person out of the skiers actually had read through everything and was like, we're gonna. I knew that we were studying a lot of math. Like I knew it was gonna be what I don't know, physics or I don't know what the translation to that specific line that we were studying, but a lot of math, a lot of physics. Yeah, so it's pretty. Everyone came there for the skiing, but then the school ended up being amazing. I had the best teachers I've ever had, so cool. We actually really enjoyed like astronomy and stuff like that. At least for like the first 2 years. Then it kind of skiing took over more of the time as we started traveling more and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a space school in Kiruna, and we were 16, and we were all living at our own apartments, and the park was awful. We didn't have jumps until February, but we started skiing a lot of urbans and stuff like that. Started filming, had inspiration a lot from level 1 and B&E. So we kind of just went out and tried to ski urban and instead.
Nice. How do you think? Yeah. Well, to me it's kind of obvious, but how do you think the lack of good skiing has shaped you and the bunch just skiing?
Yeah, no, I remember early on noticing, just coming from Umeå, then like going up to Åre for hitting like the big jumps and stuff before I went to gymnasium in Kiruna.
Yeah.
Just coming here, I just remember like every time we were here, we were so hungry and so motivated to just get after it so hard. And I remember noticing like with the other kids that were from here, they were like, you know, they took it for granted. You know, they live in this park, so they have it every day. It doesn't like matter too much for them. And then obviously having really shitty conditions in Kiruna as well, we had to do it completely on our own. It created a whole different mentality of having to make it on our own, basically, if we wanted it to happen. Like we had to shape our own jumps and like always been that kind of mentality. And then obviously moving more in towards street as well, then you really like had a really good early on sort of way of having to work for it, and that was super good for the beginning of like the career. Gets you a completely different mindset. Instead of just having it all served on the table, then maybe you get bored or something, or you don't get that early on mentality that you need in order, if you want to become a professional skier or something, or you want to like make successful ski films. You can't sit on the couch and hope that or you know, you gotta bring your shovel and start shoveling, because the jump is not gonna shovel itself.
Yeah, I can imagine that's like perhaps the best way to grow up. If you want to become a video skier with a mixture of park and jump and free skiing, all the stuff you do. Can imagine though, if we imagine someone like Andrei Regetli, he grew up in Lak, similar like growing up in Åre, perfect park for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, it can spoil you that you always have that, so you're not going to shovel yourself. But someone like him, he's showed that with when you don't have to focus on building your own jumps or making your own ski edit, you can just double down on becoming awesome at what you do. So it's it shapes you, just like the skis are shaping your style a little bit. Also,
exactly.
the conditions you grow up with shape how you engage with skiing. Since I grew up with the exact same conditions, kind of, but you know, twice as big mountains, 100 meters each.
Yeah, and what is it, like an hour and a half north of Umeå or something?
Yeah, we're in neighboring cities basically. So I would often go down to Umeå to slide rails, because it's a bigger city, more urban rails. They got some really nice ones, like a C kink, 2 kink, and you have some really nice 4 kinks and 5. And it's good there. Yeah. I like it a lot. And it was the same thing for me and my friends, that we had to shovel and make our own jumps to learn our first flips. And also me and my mates, we didn't become such a big ski crew like you guys, but North Extreme Team we called ourselves. We did all right back then.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you guys as super talents and like this crazy older crew that was like pushing it from my area. And it's funny, we were actually talking about I went to one of you guys' competitions, and you guys also had, you know, made those things happen. Like you arranged those competitions and brought skiers around and helped build the culture and stuff. And that's what you need in those areas. Like there isn't a culture, there isn't like there wasn't, and there still barely is, you know. But there's some people that help and could contribute to like creating a skiing culture. But yeah, you guys did that, and that's really important. Like even today, if you like skiing, and also like that's something I've been trying to do lately more too, is just trying to contribute to the culture, because you need people. If you, yeah, it's yeah.
I thank you very much for that, and thank you for joining our freestyle ski competition.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You were too young for me to remember you.
Yeah,
then.
I mean, I was like just
12 maybe.
Yeah, just looking at everybody doing like 540s freaking on the big jump, and I was just like, oh my god. Like,
I think we did cooler tricks than that too.
And like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you were doing cork
9s and things that day, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and that to me was insane to see. Like, I remember like I've had like these crazy experience when I was like kid, and just seeing someone do like a cork 9, it just hit me in my heart, and I was like, it created such a want to do something like that. And even early on, I like saw someone jump on a bike. I was like 5 years old in Australia, and I saw someone just do a huge jump on a bike, and it got printed in my head, and I was like, I'm doing that. It was such a strong urge to go towards like jumping and stuff like that, and those like just getting to be at that competition and seeing the level and stuff, and seeing all these cool kids, it was like huge. I think that's really like, you know, that probably helped me a lot to move where I was. Like if I didn't go to that competition, there's all those little puzzle pieces, and why it's important to build the culture as well, because like if you give some people something to go to, and some like a substance, then yeah, that was like substance for me. I was like, wow, this is
it was a cool competition.
Helped me in my skiing career.
Yeah, so if anyone is watching this and you're sitting in a town with barely no good skiing around, maybe it's flat but you get snow, do it yourself, guys. You'll be surprised on how it might change you to do other things in life. I think for me, a large part of the reason why I'm running Stomp It, I can live of it, and why you're running or being a part of the bunch and running 1,000 skis, can live of it, professional skier as well, is that we grew up with shitty conditions, and it shaped us to do it ourselves, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
It's a beautiful thing to not have everything.
Yeah, I mean, working for something is great, and
and you said you want to contribute to skiing. I wish you guys existed before me and my crew, because when I was riding airbands and dropping roofs and things, got decent at it, but I was always like just sliding rails, maybe doing a switch up or a 270 on or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was a bit limiting. It's first, as far as I'm concerned, when you guys arrived a little bit to the scene, where you started making everything in a city into a feature.
Yeah.
It can just be a little, like this table here, bounce on it, do some butter thing, and then off. There's nothing around it. You don't even need any speed.
Yeah.
So thank you for this contribution, and especially for people growing up today. The city is even more a playground than it was when I started skiing, thanks to inspirational content of the bunch and others as well.
Yeah.
So that's really sick.
Thank you.
So you're going to this upper secondary high school called Gymnasium in Swedish. You're there with this sick bunch of skiers calling themselves The Bunch. And you're all driven to ski, and you're also maybe driven to do other things, clearly.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys stuck it together for 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I guess we started the gymnasium in 2009, so I guess now, what does that mean? Is it 13 years then?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, yep.
And you made many cool edits. Obviously, a link in the description if you want to watch their latest videos. Like, what's your position in the bunch? Do you have like a role that you're playing? Maybe not officially, but
yeah. Well,
how do you contribute?
I am passionate as frick, and I want to make films, and I freaking, and everyone is, but I like to just kind of sort of compose stuff to happen, and I guess I'm a source of inspiration, and I have like a strong urge to like create stuff, I guess, and I think that's a like a good working mentality, and also like a really strong belief in the bunch, like I felt so much for the bunch, like it's so valuable to me, this like having these friends, and also the stuff we have been creating. Like I might be the bunch biggest fan. and that sounds like super egoistic, but I'm just really proud of it. And so I think that's maybe my contribution, if that makes any sense. But
so you're an inspiration. Do you mean that you plan trips to go places?
Yes.
Or to go, now we're gonna go shoot this thing?
I'm like I'm calling up and I'm saying, I've already booked my tickets to India. This is exactly how you book your tickets. And then, you know, I get everyone else on like, but then obviously I couldn't do it. You know, it's and the cool thing too with the bunch now that naturally has just progressed from everyone being skiers. Now there's all these shaped out roles. So I'm mostly a skier within the bunch still. Like I'm one of the few that are still very active. Everyone like is active, but really in front of the camera, still professional. You know, we've gotten some additions like Alex Hackle, who's been awesome and stuff like that. But anyways, everyone has found their spot, and people have shifted focus from skiing to maybe director of photography, like Paben. You know, he's been working with that for maybe 7 years or something, really perfecting that, working within the Stockholm scene of creating commercials and stuff like that. And you have Jens and Gustav that's been focusing a lot on directing projects. You have Ulrich that's been focusing on photos. Now we have Lucas that's really into economics. So there's naturally have been just a placement of everybody creating like this super strong team of like a production crew, I guess. Which has been like, and that's really cool, and it's been fostering also a crowd surrounding, I feel like, with people sort of also coming in. Like now with this new movie we're working with Björn Eklund, that completely different guy we haven't been working with at all, but he's also a real talented filmmaker. And I wouldn't say that he's like him because of the bunch, but I think he's definitely had inspiration from the bunch. And I can see the people around. It's kind of fostering this community of people trying to do stuff. So there's like a vast amount of creators that's at hand basically right now, which is really cool.
Yeah, you can tell that you're a team specializing in things, because what you guys are doing is so difficult. Just the level of filming you guys have reached lately, it's super sick. Yeah. So you arrange stuff like, I booked my trips, we're going to India, we're gonna make this film project there.
Yeah.
While you're making a film project, let's say, is the time for matching socks? Are you a part producer, chipping in, hey, should we do a section that's like this and that and all artsy?
Well,
how are you working with that?
So I've been producing a lot of things, most of the bunch projects, I would say, like as just kind of, and that's something I haven't liked as much, and I've told myself that I don't like it as well. Now I'm starting to tell myself, well, you actually like producing stuff and you're actually pretty good at it. So just kind of getting the funding for the projects, and also organizing trips and stuff, like everything that a producer does. So that's been, I guess, also a role that I've had. And then with this new project, I've also been part of directing it a bit, just coming up with ideas. It's been cool working with Björn and Alex, because we've been a tight trio. In previous projects, I've sort of let everything, I've done the producing part maybe, and then other people have done just the editing and the directing, and sort of everyone's kind of just trusted each other, and that's also a very cool process. But it's been nice being more involved in the whole process on this last movie, Many Fences Later, contributing with a couple ideas here and there, and Björn being open to sort of those ideas. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are a sick crew.
Thank you.
So you're gonna do that Akkha project. Well, what is the Akkha project? This is the latest ski movie you guys are working on.
So we actually have 2 movies now that are finished. Akkha, so the Akkha film, that's a documentary about me and my great-grandfather, who was the first to summit this peak in Sweden exactly 100 years, or exactly 101 years ago today, but we did it exactly 100 years after them. And was the first documented winter expedition to this peak. And back then it was really hard because there was no roads there, you know. They had these jackets that was made out of 6 wolves, you know. Just imagine the weight. They had these crampons that they constructed themselves. They had, you know, like the canvas, like tents, everything, you know. It's a huge mission, and no one had done it before. And no one did that stuff either. Like now, you know, going on mountain hikes, you have movies on Netflix. There's so much inspiration for it. Getting into it is quite easy, even though it's a hard thing to do. But back then it was blank. I mean, there was maybe they've heard, you know, you hear a rumor that some French people are mountaineering in somewhere, and then you just, I don't know how it happened, but basically they were pioneers in the Swedish mountain scene without any inspiration. And back then too, like that kind of stuff was considered crazy. Like you're supposed to provide for your family, and that's it. If you go to the mountains risking your life, that's not a good move. So anyways, we did the movie documenting there. So this legendary photographer Borimesh, Swedish OG legend, did the photos for their trip, and then Arthur, my great-grandfather, wrote a diary. So we used that material, and then we went on the same trip, and then we sort of compare these 2 experiences, and then it's there's a cool Arthur, my great-grandfather, describes like this passion for the outdoors. It's very poetic written, where he like looks at the mountains and just describes them in nice words, like midnattssolens mångbesjungna jungfruland.
Wow.
Like
Poetic.
there's like this nice, and so there's this nice quotes all over it.
Love
and
it.
Then and they've done a great translation as well on translating this, because it's a movie in Swedish, but with subtitles it seems to be fully, like, you really get everything even if you don't speak Swedish, because we have actually won 9 prizes now for it on normal film festivals. Like Amsterdam International Film Festival, Cine Paris in Paris, in Denmark, in Norway, in Stockholm, a few. So it's and also to sort of like the guys within the bunch were really looking for something to, you know, expand their creative skill, I guess. Little bit tired of creating ski movies and stuff like that. For some of them, they wanted to get better and stuff, and then this movie came at a perfect timing for that. So it was like, I don't know, a chance for them to really try something new, a documentary. So that was it really came as like in the perfect time. There's so many things with this project that, like, the timing was crazy. Like, it was 100 years ago. I didn't know about my great-grandfather until pretty recently, because my grandma was born before they got married, and back in the days that was really bad, so he got sort of sent away. And never spoken about until recently, when we heard about my grandmother's sister contacted us and was like, hey, this is your actual grandfather, great-grandfather. So and then we have this in the family. We have this crazy about the mountain vibe. Like everyone, I've heard about Akkha like my whole freaking childhood. And then all of a sudden, my great grandfather did the first summit there. So we were like, what the frick? And then me being a professional skier, having the people around me that can create a film about this, also like and also wanting to really push their skill forward. So there's so many things that just kind of like came together here. So the film is finished. We have been premiering it super successfully at a lot of locations. We got another premiere tour in Sweden this fall, and then we're gonna release it sometime. It's going to more festivals and stuff as well.
Will you release it on the Bunch YouTube channel?
That's like that's the hard part. Like I don't want to do that because it seems like I want to get it out. I want to, distribution is hard, and if we just release it through their channel, like you're gonna have the Bunch fans that are like super hyped on it. But it would be so nice to get other people to watch it because I know that it's gonna be appreciated. So we're trying to figure that out, how we should release the film.
Well, if there's anything I can help with, just send me a link or a thing if it needs posting on Instagram to get it out there. I haven't seen it yet, but I assume it's rad. So I just have the trust in you guys that it's going to be cool.
Yeah, we definitely need some help with the distribution of it. So we're going to figure that out.
Yeah. Well,
and also another thing that to claim this project even harder, because I freaking am stoked about it. So we did Is the Time for Matching Socks, and Ruben Östlund, who is Sweden's biggest director, he's like a world-known director. He won the Golden Palm 2 times or something. He's one of the biggest of all time in Sweden, and he comes from skiing. He created the first 2 ski movies from Sweden, Free Radicals 1 and Free Radicals 2.
Oh, I like those.
Yeah, so he's and then so he randomly he shared our video on. We had no connection to him whatsoever. He shared our video Is the Time for Matching Socks on Facebook, and was like fantastic. So we got in contact with him, and then we basically then he's been mentoring us a bit in the project, like helping us, borrowing out gear to us, and this kind of stuff too. That was also, and we had a meeting with him, and he was like just hyping us up, like you guys got to think big. Like after the meeting, everyone was like, okay, we're gonna make it. We're Oscars next thing. Like people were so happy. He was basically just pumping us up through the process. So that was really cool, getting to work with him as well.
You guys are so driven. It's really cool. That leads me to think something that bothers me a little bit, maybe. Do you think people on the internet that's been following you or the Bunch or the rest have an accurate perception of who you guys are?
I mean, maybe more so now than ever, but yeah, it's always been hard. Yeah, being like kind of a starting our careers, being creative on skis, also sort of exposing a lifestyle of sort of experimenting, and like having like sort of trippy segments and these sort of this kind of image of being like some drug addicts that basically just skied and had fun. Like basically, I feel like it's sort of especially coming from Sweden, our stuff was different, and we were a bunch of kids. We were having a lot of fun, and we were experimenting, and that I feel like sort of created some kind of stigma early on that we were just these loose cats basically. So I think that's definitely followed us for quite a while, but now I think that we've sort of proven ourselves a bit more, I guess.
A bit more.
But I think this still exists. This kind of stigma or whatever you call it.
Yeah, that stigma. I want to bring it up because I met all of the crew basically in Zermatt when I was running a camp there. And I followed you guys for years, and I love what you guys been doing, but everyone does not like it. Obviously, some people think you guys dress stupid, never land a trick clean, and probably they have a stigma. I think you guys are lazy drug addicts, weirdos, and artists.
Yeah.
And my little glimpse into your world, talking to you and the rest, is like, that is so wrong. Oh my God, you guys are driven creators who are artistic, and you're intelligent. You all went through like the hardest math and physics you can do in Swedish school. I know it. I've done the same
At least
actually.
on gymnasium
level. Yeah, and I did the same. I did the technique as well.
Okay.
So that stigma is quite wrong, and also, wow, you guys are also friendly. So for anyone who's like listening to this and you feel intimidated about going to the freestyle park, you probably felt it too. Maybe coming to our competition.
Yeah.
If you're into freestyle skiing, don't let people who look cool intimidate you. Everyone is basically a wonderful, kind person who's happy to help if you dare to ask.
Yeah. I think it's a great culture within free skiing, and if you ask people for advice or in the slope, if you feel that you need a friend, don't hesitate to ask. I think that's a cool part about free skiing, is that I've been traveling a lot around, and I've been hosting people in Sweden, and people hosted me in the US and in Canada, and sort of it's this whole help each other community.
Yes, and that community is not obvious to see if you just rock up at a decent park. Let's say you go to Årekläppen. It all seems very cool and not so inviting. It's just like that on the surface. You just gotta, dare to talk to people and ask for help. People love sharing knowledge. Or compliment them on the tricks, and the trick someone did, and ask like, how did you do that sweet butter? And people will share, and you'll make some new friends that you can maybe stay at their house in the future when you're better bros.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is Culture, Akkha, cool movie. Can't wait to watch it. What's the second movie that's done?
That's called Many Fantasies Later.
I like the name.
Yeah, this is kind of a tribute to a long process of working with movies and stuff. That's we actually just had premiere in Denver for it. It's been a smaller crew. It's mostly been me and Björn and Hackle, and then we've had Evelina Nilsson, Emil Granbom, Hugo Burvall also working on it. But yeah, I'm really, really stoked on that project as well. It's more of a classic ski movie than Akkha is, because Akkha is more of a documentary, but it's based on concept, and it has a humoristic red line through the whole film that I really, really like. And basically we are ambitious and we try very hard, and that can be very sort of challenging sometimes. You get exhausted in your body, everything, and you sort of become a little insane.
I can tell in the videos.
Yeah, and we sort of try to, capture that in the video, the sort of going insane a bit part, because it's waking up every day knowing that you want to do something for the project, and sort of everything is based around this. Your whole reality seems to be based around this project during last season, for example, or when you do a big project. So we brought that up, and also it's all backcountry skiing.
Oh, nice.
First mover, it's all backcountry.
Cool.
So that's been very new as well. And then we're all like, I'm not experienced, but I would say I'm the most experienced. Then Hackle, he's fearless, but has like zero experience until this year
in like bigger mountains. Okay.
And Björn, he has below zero experience and is is maybe also intimidated by those mountains as well. So that's been a process as well, just having a crew with that little experience in that type of terrain, you know, like that something you don't even think about when you see a ski movie, but just being out there in that terrain with a crew that's not that experienced, it's like takes a lot of time and energy, and you gotta take all these decisions, and so it's been in that way, you know. If we were out to film street, we're so dialed at it. It's like we know exactly how to do everything, and here we are with a freaking new composition of crew, and we're in a new area of filming the mountains, and so it's been tricky like that. But I'm really excited on the result of this film. It's it's gonna be awesome to premiere it as well.
Make sure everyone gets some avalanche training.
Yeah.
Just go out with a mountain guide for 2 days, or you know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like that's super good to have. you gotta have.
Yeah, should at least. I was a little reckless in my youth, and I tried to learn stuff. It's hard to know what you don't know. I recorded a podcast 2 days ago. He said exactly that. It's hard to know what you don't know. And in avalanche and like freeride skiing, that basically means you don't know that you're in danger sometimes because you know too little. And it's important to get some of that training. And the easiest way is to do it with a guide for like a day or two, or you can join a whole course for like a week. But you know, you learn a lot with a guide in a day or two.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see that Freeride the bunch kind of video. You mentioned yesterday when I ran into you at the co-working space where we met that you're gonna do some exciting race drones in the video, right?
Yeah, we did. So one of the concepts for Many Fantasies later was a race drone segment. So we had Luke Bredar, an American guy, came over and filmed us for 3 weeks. We only really got 4 good days out of those those weeks, but those 4 days were like the most productive out of the whole season, because also it took a long time to dial the communication with the driver. It's really hard to get the shots to be like cinematic and to keep the right distance. You know, if you're like far off, then the shot's not cool at all, but if you're like really close, then it's like this amazing shot. So just getting the distance, it's extremely hard to fly those drones. This guy's been flying since he was 12, and he's 21 now, or 20 now.
So has almost a decade experience, despite him being awesome at filming. Out of 10 ski lines that he would film in the beginning, how many would he actually get the shot at a satisfactory level?
Maybe like in the beginning less than half, for sure.
Really?
In the end, almost all of them. Then of course it depends also, like, I mean, he wouldn't miss us in the clip, but there's a difference of like the banger shots and the less good ones. But in the beginning it was frustrating. We had the worst conditions of the season. We had to dial this communication, and it was we started out trying the hardest thing as well in lead follow cams.
Oh shit.
So the drone is flying in front of you, and the pilot can only see forward. The pilot can't see the skier, so the drone has to estimate the speed basically, and the skier has to try to dial the speed with the drone, kind of. So a lot of times I had to like brake, you know, just to get like, and then do a few turns in front of it because it was driving too slow, or a lot of times it was just charging too fast and you had no chance of catching up with it. So we started out worst conditions, hardest possible ever filming scenario, and failed a lot. And then by the end we started filming more follow cams, drone behind, and then it's you got to communicate. You got to like the drone driver's got to know when you're slowing down, when you're speeding up, when you're slowing down, so he can, because the drone can't really slow down. It's sort of when it has speed, it's kind of gonna go. So, But that's a really cool, engaging way of filming. I think it's the future of extreme sport filming, and I think, and we're gonna keep working on that in this next season.
Yeah,
we're gonna try to take that concept and bring it even closer to just better, I guess.
Can't wait to see it. I think that's just incredible to bring it into context. If he got less than half in the beginning of freeride skiing, maybe you were riding like segments 300 vertical meters or so. That means they'd have to walk for about an hour up again. And do a different line because you tracked it now. And you biffed that line. So it's mad effort trying to do that.
But then also those 4 days that we did get when we had dialed things for about 2 weeks and we had great snow conditions, we had 3 skiers doing different lines all at the same time. The drone pilot is in the bottom. He's able to film all the 3 skiers. You know, you have a constant flow of skiers doing things on the mountain, and have one drone being able to capture all of them. So then we were able to get like about 2-3 clips each a day, so maybe like 9 clips in a day or something like that, which is, if you compare to regular filming, the filmer has to move the camera, say 500 meters across the field through deep snow, set up a new angle, be ready for one guy, the next guy is gonna drop, you have to move all the way back again and film. Like, it's such a long process. So when you dial it, I was like, I've never experienced that kind of productivity, especially backcountry skiing. When you have it dialed, it's crazy how much you can do. There's no lag between filmer and skier when it works. The skier can just ski and the filmer is there, ready, basically.
So sick.
So it can work. It work. It's not. Yeah, it can be shitty and it can be great.
Yeah. Just when you mention how hard it is, I've been flirting with the idea of getting some FPV video for tutorials or ski vlogs, but I've been like, no, I think that would be too hard, and I think it is, because I need to find someone so good that can fly it. Maybe I'll do it at some point just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah. And also in the park, it can be easier to communicate and easier to set speeds, at least like in between jumps and stuff. I think it's easier done in a park than in the backcountry.
Yeah, or if you want to do more laps, easier. The investment is smaller of effort. I just know how frustrating it can be to shoot park with a normal drone. Like in the beginning, when you're not dialed in, you get a lot better quickly, but it's kind of tricky. But let's talk about tricks. Skiing, that's what I'm all about, learning stuff, right? How do you go about learning a new trick, for example? Do you have a process, or from inspiration to? Yeah,
usually, if I see something inspiring on Instagram or whatever, I try to just do it the next day. It's really fun when you have, like, I think, like, it takes kind of like effort to keep learning and stuff. Like, it takes a dedication to keep pushing yourself, and I think that's important. And it's not something that I think you should take for granted. I think it's more something like, same thing with, like, I don't know, with anything you do, anything you're trying to be good at. I think, like, don't take the progression for granted. And if you seem like you're stuck in your skiing and you're not progressing, or maybe if you're not having as fun as you used to on skis and stuff, that could be because you're not, like, progressing and trying new stuff. So I think that it sort of takes a little bit of, dedication and hard mentality to, like, keep that little spark alive. So
are there some tips you have on, like, how do you push yourself then? Do you keep like a little journal, write down things you want to learn, or do you keep track of if you're progressing?
I usually don't like do too much of that, but just like hiking rails and stuff and whatever I do, I try to be just thinking of a little something different I can do here and there to change things up, to always have a little progression. But I don't write it down more so. And then the more stuff you learn and more variations and stuff, just like, you know, like I was just remembering, like when I started skiing, I spun to the left all the time, you know, jumped on the rail with the same foot up every time. And just deciding on, like, okay, I'm gonna start doing the anat lip slides and stuff like that, and switch anat lip and all those. There's like these tiny details that you can be mathematical about, or just that you're like, okay, well, I haven't done this and this and this and this, and they're like pretty easy things to do, but it opens up a lot within your skiing. So if you have the anat, especially in street and stuff, because you come to a street spot and they're always different, and if you've done thousands of anat lips, that's gonna just feel natural, and then you find yourself in a scenario where you need that, and then you have it. So yeah, I think these kind of small tactical things, because a lot of times I've been coaching a bit too at like a ski gymnasium, and there you see these crazy good kids, like they can do these crazy tricks, like, but they keep pushing one direction basically. Now I know people are more into spinning both ways and stuff, so now it's kind of maybe more natural. But like if you're going crazy good in one direction, and then I'm like asking, have you done like a nat lip slide? And they're like, no. Like maybe you could try a nat lip slide, and then that little thing could just open up their ability to do a nat lip too. And there's these, if you look at you could like picture your skiing and say, what do I do on skis? Because you tend to fall in patterns. Everyone tends to fall in patterns, you know, especially as you grow older, you kind of become comfortable, and maybe you become more scared about hurting yourself and these kind of things. And then I think it's extra important to see your patterns, be like zoom out, like, okay, I do that and that and that and that on skis like all the time. Can I do this and this and this instead?
Nice, many thoughts there. What you said about if you're ending up on a plateau, I ended up in a plateau 2013, 14. I felt like I'd gotten too old for freestyle skiing. Kind of. Yeah. I know we're laughing. Well, a lot of my friends, they stopped skiing, and I had kind of fallen out of it, and then I was on this plateau. Then I started writing things down. Every time I went to Valsberget outside of Piteå, also tiny hill, they had good rails and a nice jump. I'd write down what I wanted to do that I couldn't do, and that started making it fun again. And I have another thing I'd like to share there is there's this Czech psychologist called Mihaly with a really difficult last name, who studied flow and the flow state, which you know so well. That state when you forget time and space, you're just skiing. And this state is only achieved where the challenge matches your skill set. And he likes to call it like a flow channel. And basically, if you do something really easy, you go below the channel, you feel a kind of boredom, you're too relaxed, it's not that fun. Then you got to up it, make a more difficult trick instead of a natural lip slide. Then you got to do an unnatural tails 2-on or whatever scary thing to reach that flow. But if you push too much, you feel anxious and afraid, and that is debilitating for your skills. So think about that. Since I learned about this concept, I apply it to myself regularly and camp guests. Yeah. Like if someone's bored, it's like, this is why. Yeah, we gotta raise the challenge for you. Yeah. Or you're afraid of shit, we gotta dial it down, and then I quickly come up like a little exercise or something that's less scary.
Yeah, I guess there's always a balance of the progress. Like don't push it too hard, but don't slack, and then sort of like these tiny steps of always kind of trying to be in the flow and keeping it interesting the whole time.
Yeah. So. And it is.
But I think it's interesting, the flow state of skiing and stuff. I've been getting in more to meditation and spirituality recently, and I've just learned more about the present moment, and that there's like, you know, like you feel when you are skiing and you're in the flow state and you're doing a trick. There's basically, you're so in depth in the presence that you have this hyper sort of focus, and you can stuff become very vibrant and like clear. And that's something I've been with skiing. I've been connecting the meditation and stuff, like trying to be as present as possible in the skiing as well. And for example, when you hit a jump, you're always in the like when you're skiing down towards the jump, you're in the turns of that jump, instead of like thinking of the trick. There's, you know, it happens quite easily. You fail a trick and you think, fuck, I failed a trick. And all of a sudden you're all in your thoughts, and there's just thoughts. Maybe you hike up and you're not just in your thoughts. But if you try to keep the moment, even if you fail on something, like try to relieve the judgment of failing, and like you land the trick, you failed, you didn't get the grab, but you're landing, you're actually still skiing. So be there in the skiing even then. And that, like, for example, for me, a lot when it comes to rails and stuff, like maybe I'm coming off the rail, but I'm like coming off the rail in like a transition, and then all of a sudden I'm like up on a wheelie out of the rail, and then I'm like 180 out. So that's been real helpful for me, like never stop skiing basically. You fall off the rail, but you're still skiing, and then boom, I'm like on a wheelie, and then I've done like a trick, or I thought of a new idea that was inspired from a fail, because I didn't judge myself for sliding off the rail. I kept skiing off the rail. So I think that's a cool concept to try to bring in for more people, is like, how can you become more present in your skiing and stop judging yourself too much? Because I mean, obviously you want to have you want to progress and stuff, but yeah, I think the judgment can be bad sometimes.
Yeah, I see it and love it. So just keep skiing, and maybe you made a new cool trick out of it. I can picture exactly what you said there with the rail, or maybe over cork a cork 7, land on a little manual, maybe do a little 180 out, and all of a sudden you've done like an Instagram banger.
Exactly. Yeah, this I can really see this sometimes, like looking at clips, because it's not like I have judgment, I get pissed, Skiing is it's so in depth in me. Like if I'm not skiing good, it's really hard for me to feel good. I'm trying to get over that, but like skiing is so big part of my life. So, and there's plenty of eyes on me all the time, and sometimes I'm judging myself like, oh, I'm not skiing good, blah blah, and maybe I'm filming something and I'm thinking like this wasn't the trick, but then I look back at the clips sometimes and I just see that wow, like that looks so good, but maybe in that mindset I was like maybe I was right there and then I was just struggling with a trick. I couldn't land it, and I was frustrated and I had frustration going on. But instead, when I look at the clips, like, wow, that was so sick. Like a one shot that I thought maybe was a fail, but it was like actually a really good clip. So yeah, it's important to try to uplift yourself and your skiing always, so that you think of it as something great, I think, all the time. So yeah, that's gonna help you progress, I think.
I have been on and off practicing meditation for 10 years. I had it as a pretty strong habit every morning, not long, 5-10 minutes, trying just to like center myself that I would start my day kind of stress-free.
Yeah.
I've fallen out of it now. Now I focus on some stretching and strengthening my body, and this habit had to go for a little bit. I will find my way back to it soon. Do you have some advice for meditation for skiers? Where should they begin? Apps, videos, alone? What type do you like?
There's like on Spotify, you can like search meditations, and you go to what is it? It's podcasts. I think they're under podcasts. And there's you can like do a opening course or something. And I think it's for me, I read the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kind of a classic way in for a lot of people to this spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, there was a spark of inspiration that book gave me, that there was no way of me looking back from that spark of inspiration. Like I sort of saw that there was something bigger, and like I could feel better, and I could, you know, do better, and I could be more friendly and nicer, and all these things that sort of I was wanted to be. And I saw that, and I found inspiration from that book and other sort of gurus and stuff. And I just saw that there's like I just couldn't look back. Since I read that book, I couldn't look back. I was just eager to find out what this is about. And since I've done more meditation and been to like gatherings of people where you have these either sharing circles where you really get to be honest and truth with yourself and with others, as well as meditation and stuff can be real powerful in like groups, and it can open for creativity. And there's also like a stigma and stuff around that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in Sweden, you know, it's this kind of, now it's becoming more and more, it's growing, this meditation. Everyone's like, oh, I might try meditation. Or I feel like almost everyone has tried meditation at this point.
Yeah, many have.
I mean, because there is a growing rate of depression and stuff in society, and people realize maybe that there's something missing, or they're not, you know, there's so much in society too. There's so much temptations left and right, and there's so much stuff that you know, you should get an education, you should get a super nice job, and it's hard to lose maybe your inner want, you know, to some sort of identity that you need to become something. And you know, there's like a whole thing going on with these social stuff that's like with creating an identity and proving yourself, and constantly like proving yourself. So there's so I guess like the meditation is coming in sort of as a tool to kind of look at that and get to know yourself better.
If anyone is cringing by hearing the word meditation, it's just because you don't really know what it means. I think that's the reason why you might be cringing hearing this. Meditation can be simply the practice of closing your eyes, focusing on your breath, and then your mind gets distracted. You start thinking about, I got to go and buy milk at a food shop, or I got to do this, and I got to pay the taxes, those things. And every time you get distracted, I love when I first heard this, you think about that, you're going to go grocery shopping, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm meditating. Think about your breath again. And that's the practice. You get distracted, you bring that thought back to your thing of focus, if it's your breath. And every time you get distracted, it's a good thing, because then you get to do like one biceps curl for the brain to stay focused on the thing you want to focus on.
Exactly. I mean, it's a lot of it is just to be able to focus and to be able to sense your body and sense these things. Because like your brain just runs freaking a marathon, and you get all these thoughts that just come in, and sometimes these thoughts can be very shaped by a lot of things. So maybe if you just fully live out your thoughts, like something, basically the feeling of being angry, I think it's but like, or at least if you are your feeling, which is the case a lot of times. Like there's no, I think meditation and the spiritual practice teaches you that you're not your feelings. So basically, if you're angry, now I can kind of catch that. I rarely get angry, but I do sense that feeling sometimes, and then I can sense it coming, and I'm feeling like I'm like angry now, frustrated. Why am I that? Whereas I think a lot of times people don't have the understanding that they aren't their feelings, so they basically are angry. You know, they go into that feeling and like, now I'm angry, and I'm angry at this guy, and this is wrong, and like you become your feeling. And I think that's a really important knowledge, to just zoom back out, see that anger, accept it, and then kind of move on, because you are not your feelings. And if you live in your feelings, you kind of will suffer a bit, I think.
Yeah. And another couple of ways you can use it for skiing is, first time I was going to try double corks, I had been afraid, so I did not try. I never try anything if I'm afraid. But once I was just like nervous, and I knew in my mind, just like you, that I will land this now. But there's still this little uncertainty and intimidation. Then breathing is absolutely key, like slow into the stomach breaths. Just keep it calm and let your body, calm your mind down.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So that works well as a simple form, just deep, slow breaths. Or you can do box breathing like the Navy SEALs do. I think they do 3 or 4 seconds in, 3 or 4 seconds hold, 3 or 4 seconds out, hold, basically like that. It's also a really nice way of calming yourself down before doing scary freeride line or new trick or whatever it can be.
Yeah, that's great advice. I've noticed that climbing. I've done a little bit of climbing recently, and I think it's pretty scary to be on the wall. And then that I really have to be like reminding myself, okay, breathe, just breathe. And it's crazy what difference it does as soon as you sort of start breathing deeply. Yeah. When there's fear, when you experience fear, it's the trick. It's the key to sort of I guess I heard something recently. I'll see if I can remember it. When you experience fear, first you make sure that you basically got to see that you're fearing. You can't be the fear. You got to zoom out and see, okay, I'm scared right now. You got to be able to know, okay, I'm scared right now. And then the second thing is sort of accepting that you're scared by like breathing and stuff. And then the third was, what was it? Sort of, playing around with it, or investigating the fear. What is this? Why am I feeling this? Where does this come from? So on. And then the third or the fourth was, don't identify with the fear. Like, don't make that your personality or anything. Just look at it as something that's, I don't know, but don't attach to it. Don't identify with it. It's
just like it's a beach volleyball in your hand or something.
Exactly. Something you want to investigate and you want to learn more about, but it's not you.
Something that came to mind, if you want to try meditation, check out, like you said, the Spotify playlist. Didn't know you could do that. Oh, I did know that I can do that. I've done it one time with something my mom introduced me to. At the old age, she became a yoga instructor. It's Satanama meditation. It's a mantra-based one. That's too spiritual for me, kinda. Yeah. But he works like a charm. Put it on pretty loud on the speaker, and then sing along with it. It's weird, but you'll feel great after. Don't start with that, maybe.
Yeah, I think
because it's too weird.
I think,
but it feels great.
Sort of, it's important to understand why we meditate and stuff like that. Understand what's it good for, and sort of not just get theory about behind it. See the benefits and stuff like that. I think that's a good start. Just sort of, I don't know, now there's like studies on meditation and how they look at the brain of someone that's meditating and how it activates all these more interesting parts of the brain. We have all the default mode network that's sort of, I think this is interesting, because when I look at a share, my default mode network says that's a share, and that's done, end of conversation. But there's something to a deeper presence where I will experience that share in different parts of my brain that is more like experience the share for the first time, which is kind of like when you're a kid, you haven't created this default mode network, which is, an awesome tool for us humans as well. But it can also, that's also kind of what happens. That's where all patterns happen and why we sort of become stuck sometimes. And this meditation shows that, or studies shows that meditation opens up a greater experience of the presence, basically. Instead of just filing it, labeling the share as a file, you see it for more what it is, like, I guess.
Yeah.
More like, kind of like being a baby, experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, great that you brought it up. Learn first what it is and what it's good for, because that's going to motivate you to try it. And if you're like me, cringe a little bit when I hear the word spirituality, you can also check out my...
I also do that. I'm like, but I'm slightly getting over that.
Yeah, me too, I think, because there is such a thing as non-religious spirituality, and...
exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. Or I'm just talking... I'm not into any religion per se. I'm into spirituality, just getting to know yourself
and being and living in the now. There's a nice app called the Waking Up app by Sam Harris, a neuroscientist. I spent many hours meditating along with him. He also has really good videos with scientists or audio clips in the app where you learn about these things. Obviously got no affiliation with this. I just want people to feel good.
Yeah. And that's great. I think he's great because he's a Western guru, so to say.
Yeah.
So he's sort of more relatable maybe than if you jump straight into the Eastern stuff that, that can be far out and too crazy. So I think it's good to start with Sam Harris. And also because he's so smart around across all the fields. He's been... Yeah, like you're saying, I feel like he knows everything about everything, and now he's also, he's just really smart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And has a lot of knowledge about science as well. So, good advice.
Waking up app is nice, or if you want something more colorful, playful, Headspace, it's called that.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't tried it.
Headspace, yeah, it is. Really playful, nice. I've used that one a bit as well. That are my top resources on it. But great, you said, learn about it first. What is it good for? So it motivates you to actually do it. And if you want to implement it in your life, from the book Atomic Habits, make a habit stack. That's a really useful concept that if you brush your teeth, straight after that, you meditate, for example. Then you have a stack of 2 that you're always going to do. You never forget about brushing your teeth. So if you add something to that, it's easier to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing there with meditation. It's not going to just come to you.
Yeah.
You're not just going to be like, oh, now I feel the urge to meditate like 4 hours every day or just 10 minutes or whatever. Like that urge doesn't come unless you strive for it. It's a practice like any other practice, and you need dedication to do it. And I fail to do it every day as well. I do it quite often, almost every day.
Try the habit stack.
Yeah, I will. Just know that you need to commit to it as well.
I should have known we would fall into this.
Yeah.
By just using my limited knowledge about you and the bunch, but it's maybe a part of that stigma that I thought that you guys would maybe be into this, probably.
Yeah.
No, that's good stuff. Let's leave that. I've come across that you guys started a new ski company.
Yes.
Why did you start it? Why does it exist?
Well, it started a lot out of basically, I would say before the whole ski company started, I would say there was like a building up frustration being a free skier in an industry that's mostly ran by like alpine or like race brands basically. being like a free skier, feeling like not getting that full support from it. It was like kind of, I feel like the free ski industry is quite messy. It's not that unified, which at least I get the feeling that skateboarding and snowboarding is a little more unified. There's a little more common interest in cultivating a culture, I guess, and this within the industry. And also, you know, we have skateboarders, snowboarders. They are from the core of skateboard and snowboard, and they started the brands. Whereas free skiing, you have those brands as well, but the main big brands they come from alpine racing.
Yeah, and a long time ago. I guess they were founded by skiers too, like hardcore scene people like you guys.
Yeah, probably.
But it's just so long ago, it's kind of forgotten.
Exactly. So it's
funny you say that's one of the reasons, or like what I'm trying to do with our camps. Just like snowboarders, if you meet a snowboarder, you're gonna assume he rides the powder, or she rides the park, likes butters, like carving, likes all of it. But if you meet skiers, you can even see on their clothing what they're gonna like.
Yes.
So with the camps, we try to, you know, get the freestyle gets a bit better at skiing. Well, the focus is obviously freestyle, and then also with ski technique, teach them a little bit of freestyle too, maybe a butter, a jump, etc.
Yeah.
And in freeride, a bit of both technique and bring freestyle into freeride. Yeah. So we in skiing become a bit more like snowboarders and skateboarders that enjoy everything, and that's something you guys kill in the bunch, because you guys are turning in your wonky fun ways with little swerves and cool moves.
Yeah, I think that's great. You bring that into the camps, have it more open. You know, you don't. It's funner. It's more fun usually to keep your. I don't know. Keep open for like learning. Learning butters. Even if you're like a racer, those two does go hand in hand. I think, and I think it's good that you do that with the camps. Yeah.
So we're a bit similar there. So you guys were missing this what you call unified snowboard skateboard vibe in the ski industry. So it's one of the reasons you started it. Yes. Are there any other reasons?
Well, yeah. Then also, sort of wanting to create something like, also, you know, we've been making movies. We make no money making movies. I mean, we have a budget. We're able to pay the people involved almost a living wage kind of a thing. It's been very like hard trying to, you know, make a living out of making ski movies and stuff. So we wanted to, and then we've had ideas on products, and we sold merch and stuff like that. And then there's been maybe underlying urge to start something up, like a company, and we've had different ideas in previous, you know, we've did like a face mask one time, and there was a few different ideas along the way that never really, you know, it wasn't the right timing for them and stuff. And then Paven really was just super committed that this is what we should do. So he called us, and I think he was like at the bar, just kind of rang everybody up like, I'm starting a ski company, are you in or are you out? And like, when is, our first question was like, when is your contract expiring? December. I'm starting a ski company, are you in or are you out? Cool. And then everyone, there was, some of us were like, hell yeah, I'm in. Cool. So that's sort of how it started. And then a lot of things, so we only been working for 2 years. It took us about a year to launch, and then now we've been selling skis for a year, and we're just moving into the second year here. And I think we've had a lot of flow on our path, finding our ski factory, being able to get skis on the market that quick. I mean, it's quite a process starting a ski company, and like you have to have a freaking factory. There's so many things, so being able to work with our ski factory has been a key for our kind of quick progress.
And could make things, I guess they got 10-20 years experience building skis.
40.
Yeah, so
or they started building snowboards in the garage when they were like 20 years old.
Yeah, so hopefully the quality will be good.
Quality, they're really like focused on quality.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, we come with all these crazy ideas, and they're like, well, one step at a time, guys. Like, you know, we have a high quality product here, and we've been working a long time for this product, and you guys got to listen to us as well. And we do, but yeah, it's good to have their expertise and also have the quality that we already have on our skis.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know basically we have a high quality product, and we certainly don't want to make a lower quality product by because you know we want to implement new sustainable materials, we want to mix around, we want to experiment, and we know our quality is high already, so we know that we can't go lower than that. So it's kind of a good reference to always have them and knowing that quality, I guess.
Nice. Why is it called 1000 skis or 1000 skis? Is it 1000 or 1000?
Well, I say both. In Swedish I say 1000 skis for sure.
Is it because you want to sell 1000 skis?
Yeah, that's a conspiracy. We're stopping at 1,000, and then from there on out the prices is just gonna raise to.
Oh, nice.
To you know, nah, I'm kidding. But it actually early on in the bunch there was a crew called 1000.
Yeah.
And they kind of came together to become the bunch. In the early movies they had a 1000 part, and then we really just somehow that name came up when we were thinking about names, and then everyone was like, we're going with 1000. I don't know why, but I think cool. It felt good.
Why are the skis red? Only red.
Well, first we like red, like, you know,
powerful color. It's
powerful color. It pops in photos, like, and you can really see that you can really see a pair of 1000 skis in the slope. But I want to say it started as like just a crazy idea basically. Now we've realized the marketing value of it, and we've realized and then we wanted to create a graphic that would last for years, because we don't want to encourage people to buy skis because of new graphics. We want people to buy new skis when they need their new skis basically. I mean, we're really about a consumering model that's more sustainable, that's more about buying quality, like taking care of your products, valuing your products, and then so that's a part of that sort of mentality, having them the same for years to come.
Also like your simple models, it's not skinny, medium and fat.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's another thing with the company. We're trying to be narrow, trying to focus on being the best at certain things, and trying to just have a narrow focus basically, and having all red skis makes it easy for us to, you know, with promotion and everything. I think it's been really helpful for us, especially starting a brand, to have them all red. And I love the color, and it's awesome. When you're in the slope, you get a lot of questions like, what are those skis? And we've actually had like people a few people have reached out and just mentioning how much sort of questions they get in the park and whatnot. And this one guy wrote a really funny like email, just ironically being really angry, like, you guys wouldn't believe how much freaking people come up talking to me. I have to talk to people every day in the slope now because I bought your skis. Like, rah. And so they attract attention, and obviously it's a new brand, so everyone wants to know how they are and stuff. So
yeah, they're cool skis, and I think it's a really clever move, because, you know, if you change the sign for next year, people have forgotten about that it's your ski. If you stick to pure red, nothing else for a few years, you can use content from years ago and people are going to think it's the same product, even if you change the inside of the ski to a bit of a new improved model, for example.
Right, yeah.
It's clever.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you.
You guys are clever guys.
we're really trying to narrow our focus, and I'm really stoked how that's been a big task this year. It's like, how how can we limit the amount of tasks that we do so that we can do, you know, less tasks but more put more time into each one of those.
What are your tasks within the company?
I, together with Levi, a guy that randomly just reached out to us on Instagram during sort of the starting of the brand, we do social media. He is about as passionate on sustainability as I am on skiing. So we make a great team. I mean, it's crazy working with sustainability in Sweden today. You get so much help from so many people because we want to move towards a green society, I guess, and there's just funding. There is so much. There's conventions. There's people. The brands are trying to align. There's so much, and I sort of have that connection with RISE, Research Institute of Sweden, which we're doing a few. We've done a pilot study on trying to change the fibers of the skis
to more sustainable fibers.
To more sustainable, which we also done a life cycle assessment, which showed that changing fiber would have a 16% reduction of the total emissions of the ski, because the glass fiber is super energy intensive process. Anyway, so we've done that pilot. We're just applying for the follow-up study. And so we have a few projects with RISE. Then we have this guy at another company, Sustainable Science Park Borås, helping us. So we're trying to be fully transparent in our value chain, and we're following these principles that are in line with the legislation and stuff coming for Europe. Like there's going to be harder and harder legislations for brands, and we're staying above or like in front of the curve.
Well done.
And yeah, so those principles also makes our focus quite easy. For example, we were trying to do the repair kit, but we weren't able to source it within these sustainability principles for like a affordable price. So we had to source a lot of stuff from China, and we're cutting all sourcing from China. We have tad bit of bamboo in one pair of our skis, but we're gonna find a different material. We're trying prototype for that this year. Basically trying to cut that out. So
why?
Because first of all, they use coal energy there, which significantly increases the emissions of the skis. Second of all, transports. It's way longer transport. Third is social sustainability. You know, there's
They're not so nice.
Not as good. Like you're within the European Union, there's, you know, you have paternity leave, you have at least 4 weeks paid vacation. There's all these things that makes for way better social sustainability. So just by finding everything in European Union, we have a guaranteed good standard on a lot of things already. So therefore we're bringing everything. We have this one tiny part in China, so we're cutting that. And that was the same thing with the repair kit. We had to source stuff from China to make it affordable, which we weren't willing to do. And if you guys are gonna steal this repair kit idea, then it's just, I'm gonna refer to, no, I'm kidding.
I hope
you thought about it too as well.
Yeah,
you told me.
I've been thinking about making a repair kit as a part of the Stomp It whatever way of making business, because you also said making videos is hard to make a living from. Yeah, that's why, one of the reasons why I do camps.
Yeah,
also to spread more in-depth information about it. But it's fantastic what you guys are doing. It's a cool product. I hope we can review it. Or one of the 3 widths. Yeah. Which one would you recommend? Narrow, medium, wide?
Well, the park one medium is really fun. I mean, the all mountain one, that's really fun as well. I would do either the park or the all mountain for a review. Maybe both. Yeah. If you want.
I will see. We
Yeah.
gotta check it out. I
Yeah.
like a good underdog story. One of the questions on Instagram that I didn't ask earlier because I knew we'd talk about it now was what was the hardest part of starting 1,000 skis so far?
Yeah.
What's hard?
What has been the hardest?
Some ideas, design, selling them, manufacturing them, funding.
I would say, like, sort of, yeah, I would say like trying to narrowing the focus and stuff, or building the foundation, like building the structure from sort of everyone's excited on everything and we're just discussing on these, like, you know, we're just talking randomly stuff on the meetings. Everything is like, you know, everyone's going all over the place, and then to sort of finding the structure. I think the structure is I think that's a really hard part and a really important part. So structuring, you know, with specific folders for each thing, you know, you got to be creative within the structure. And that structure has been maybe the hardest part. That's been, you know, that's constantly kind of evolving, and I think that is so important.
I'm surprised about the answer at first, but then I'm also like, I feel you, mate.
Yeah.
It's hard to go from being like a filmer, few skiers doing stuff. Let's say I'm considering Stomp It here in the beginning as well, to start having like people gonna really work together. For me, it's like coaches, filmer, help with social media posting, second editor to help do things, and then just the folder structure I've developed in a Google Drive.
Yeah, Google Drive is great.
Yes,
I love it.
It's a challenge, and it just, as soon as you get a good system, you need to change the system again. It's super annoying, difficult.
Yeah,
I think it will never change. It will continue to be difficult. Every couple of years, you got to change it.
I'm so hyped. So yeah, before, I guess now I thought a couple of things, but so we're lucky because Lucas, who used to be the most far out creative skier, inventing all the new tricks, like thinking, you know, always outside of the box, always pushing creativity. He's now our economic specialist. He's now
bookkeeping
his bookkeeping,
budgeting.
his budgeting. He's arranging all the Excel sheets. Like he's the main structurer within the crew, and it seems he was like the furthest away from that, and now he's like it's cool to see his transformation.
Well,
and I think it's
it takes creativity also though there to come up with the systems and projects.
And he's passionate about it. He's like, can I just show you what I've done in Excel recently? I'm like, okay, yeah, fuck yeah.
Sick graph.
I'm trying to like, I appreciate it so much, but I don't have the same urge for that.
I love a good spreadsheet as well.
Nice.
That's what I do in spring. Once the ski season is over, the snow is starting to melt, I get on Google Sheets and I go through the numbers from the last season, both on social media.
Nice.
And money, is everything okay? Am I going to survive until next season?
I mean, it's so important.
And also start budgeting for next winter. How we're going to do things, what can I afford doing? It's important, but I'm surprised that was the big challenge. I thought it would be design, manufacturing, sales would be the hard things.
That's been work and kind of, it's mostly been the structure, which is, I think we're really glad we have Lucas to say. But and I also, because I guess I said I do sustainability. I also do social media as well. Well,
you're clearly very good at it, looking at your own Skimanguy Instagram account.
But there's a whole new ball field out there these days, I think. Like I used to be quality over quantity fully. Like with Skimanguy I didn't want to post anything that was like not that good, and that would always work. But now I think that works to a certain extent, but it's also the algorithms have changed quite a lot.
So you do a bit more quantity now.
Yeah, I haven't applied this on Skimanguy yet. I'm going to, but I'm on 1,000 skis. I'm for sure trying to follow the algorithm. Like, I'm trying to learn about the algorithms. I'm trying to follow them. I'm trying to do it within sort of a safe space for us where we can stand behind it, because that's, I think, one of the downsides of Instagram limiting sort of the outlet, because now you really got to follow the real format, and you sort of have to do it within this format. So maybe if you're you have to adapt. It's not an open space where you can do whatever, basically, as long as it's good content. It's more, you really have to do it within the real format.
Yeah, it's just like how we said in the beginning of this, how skis shape your style when skiing. Also the format, Instagram and TikTok, they're shaping how I make content to some extent.
Yep.
And of course, YouTube did early on and what works and what doesn't work. You gotta...
Exactly. There's very little say in it for us. You know, you sort of have to, if you want to, which we want to, I mean, 1,000 skis, we want to make it a big brand for everybody. We're not trying to make it narrow and focus on, we're starting from where we are right now, you know, free skiers, but we want to expand and have it an open brand. Like, we want to, you know, we want to make it a big brand, basically. Nice. And then we have to follow the algorithm, so I'm trying to learn how to do so and grow the Instagram as quick as possible. So
do you got some social media tips to make it as a pro skier?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I guess these days it's a lot about quantity of posts, because it's more random what's gonna hit than what's not gonna hit. It's more like just tossing, you know, I don't know, whatever. Like, but every once in a while, the video goes, kind of. So honestly, the more you post, the better chance you have of having a successful video. So quantity, I mean, obviously quality and quantity is the perfect combination. And then, I mean, try to do you still. I feel like it's important, because if you can do your own concept within the real format and be unique, then you're actually standing out. And then also, we don't have to watch the same video over and over and over again with the same sound over and over again. Like, I think you gotta diversify the content as well, although Instagram makes it less diversified, I would say, at the moment. But yeah, so but try to use like trending sounds, stuff like that, stuff that at least if you feel comfortable using it. So I would do you, but within the Instagram format. So find the trending sound that you actually like, use that, and try to create something unique that you can stand behind, but within the Instagram format, like you're posting a reel, using their text if you think that's okay on their videos, and doing a lot of tags, or not a lot of tags, but do maybe a few proper tags. Maybe claim your own tag, and then what else? Oh yeah, and always like tag location, you know, tag people in. The more sort of inclusive you're with location tag and tags and stuff, the better. But you don't need a 50 hashtag. I think the 50 hashtag phase is over. It's more important to have a few specific tags. Like if you're swerve skiing, maybe hashtag no spatter is a good one, and yeah,
a few things like that. Good tips there. We're starting to run out of time. But before we hang up, is there anything, new products, anything you'd like to mention to the viewers and listeners?
Well, I'd like to shout out my sponsors, because I think they do a lot for me and make sure I can ski. So
who?
Shout out Haglöfs. I think it's a phenomenal brand, sustainable, and I can really back it. Finally, I have a freaking clothing sponsor, not wearing it makes a difference when you're out in the big mountains and stuff, not having track pants on.
Yeah, I bet that. Yeah, I'm pleased for you, man.
It's nice. And then Chimmy, super cool brand that I've been working with lately. Make sunglasses, goggles. They're very open, they've become big fast, and they're supporting the bunch and our projects. Cool. And me. And then I guess those are my sponsors. And 1000 Skis, of course.
Yeah. And people can follow you on @Skimanguy on Instagram,
yes.
The Bunch on YouTube, and
yes.
Magnus Granèr on YouTube.
Yes, yeah, or Magnus on YouTube.
Okay, good. Anywhere else? Or we should keep an eye out for you?
Yeah, follow the progress of 1000 Skis and hit us up we're doing everything. If you send us a DM, if you send us an email, it's gonna be me or Paven or Hackle or one of us replying there. So interact with us, ask us about the skis, and yeah, we're there. We're trying to do something.
Sounds great. And if you come by Larks, let's do something.
Yeah.
Let's make some content then. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Put you on those race skis or.
Let's do that first. Trying out the race skis. That sounds great.
Yeah, something like that, to just share more of your knowledge. Thank you guys who made it the full 2 hours.
Is this
1 hour 58 according to my device? Yeah.
Sorry for talking so goddamn much. Hopefully you found something interesting. Freaking 2 hours. Freaking. Thank you.
I think people will enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming on here. It's been great.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming to my living room too. Welcome to, this is where I live as well.
It's a lovely place.
Hey, not bad. Or actually Duved.
It's actually kind of the way, the stigma is probably true if you come visit here. No, not quite. It's tidy and nice. It's a cool place. I like it here. I could stay here.
Nice.
Thank you guys, and see you in the next podcast or video.
Yep.
Ciao.
Ciao.